Hey, this is Robin the Jammer Stitcher, and we're in a oh, here comes Willow. Um, so we're kind of in a weird sorry for the jiggles. We're kind of in a weird filming position because of our time of day, and I need to get this over before the spouse comes home, and gosh, that means I have like less than an hour, which I think is probably good because I don't want to spend that much time. So it has been really busy. I am 2 weeks late on this Flosstube, and I'm sorry for that, but fighting for democracy is tiring. And so I'm looking at, okay, let's see, since the last time I filmed, what have I done? I filmed there. I showed you Henny Penny. Yeah, really, the only thing I've been doing is working on the Wee Santa 2023, which I showed 2 photos of because it is finished. And I don't see anything else except for maybe a few more things about Henny Penny, and I will stop the video and show the whips in a minute or 2 or 3. So March, I had 2 starts, 2 finishes. Well, am I counting that a finish? I guess I had 1 finish in March, and then the finish that I hoped to be in March was actually in April. So I need to change my stats. And 25 days of stitching, if that, 9 social days, and I filmed on 3/15. Well, let's see. Yeah, I filmed like at the end of February, and then I filmed on 3/15, so I was almost a week late for my first Flosstube. And then things have just been kind of crazy. It's the slow time of my work, which is great, but I did some stats at work, and I had done 16 data requests, which normally I get 3 per month, and 16 is like over 5 per month. So, and there's one giant one that's going to take me weeks and weeks to work on during my slow time here, and I hope I can get it done by mid-May, because I won't have time, and it's due in September. I'm afraid the people that want it won't send me information that I need until closer to July or sometime, which would be ridiculous because June, July, August, September, October, November, those are busy times for me with my work. So, but cross stitch, okay. So no retreats and no classes in March. In April, this was the week of the 30th anniversary of Acorns and Threads, and I'm going to insert some photos of some things that were a friend of mine took on let's see, Thursday the 2nd, and because that was the official birth date, 30th birth date of Acorns and Threads. And so then Friday and Saturday was still celebrating, and today, Saturday, April 4th, we had a free stitch day. There was lots of stuff. People brought like potluck stuff, and there was a lot of desserts left over from the celebration. In fact, there was a huge box of desserts that hadn't even been opened. They were like little bars, like brownies, and oh, and these raspberry chocolate ones, they were delicious. I brought some of those home, and I brought some of the brownie bars home that I will share with my spouse. But I had a bunch at the shop, so I feel like I can do that. And I made a giant roasting pot of Chex Mix, done the old-fashioned way in the stove. And so let's see. I don't even know how many days I've stitched. It's only been 4 days in the month. I think I've stitched 3 of those days. No, I don't remember. Yeah, I think 3. I just haven't been writing them down, which I should have. But anyway, so I finally finished the Wee Santa 23. I finished that. Finished that on Thursday, the 2nd, and so I still need to do one more finish for April to be on track for my 1 finish a month goal, and I have been working on something which I will show you in the whip section coming up. And let's see, the Acorns and Threads beach retreat is April 24th, 25th, 26th. I think there's a waiting list. I'm not sure if the waiting list is closed, but I can't wait. And I'm gonna bring like things that I've stitched on AIDA, so they'll be easy peasy, not have to think about linen, because that is a different headspace than AIDA and Lugana. And so I've kind of highlighted on my spreadsheet what things I'm going to, what things I'm thinking about taking. And then May 2nd is the 11/20 Crafter Retreat at Cynthia's of Bend. I know that there were still some slots left when I signed up, but that was a month or 2 ago, maybe a month and a half ago. But it's a good size space and they usually don't fill up. So go to their website, check it out. I met somebody and I was talking about it today and said, hey, you know, there's still room. And I'm crazy. I'm going to back-to-back out-of-town retreats 2 weekends in a row. And so then coming up is the Spring Mingle. And for some reason, I thought that was in April, not in May. But it is May 15th, 16th, 17th. So I have that on my calendar. And I will be doing some stuff on that Saturday, but it won't take up a huge chunk of my time. So I will be attending the Spring Mingle at least 2 out of 3 days. And I haven't even looked. There is one class that I wanted. There's a modern folk embroidery class I'd like to go to. So we'll see what choices I make in terms of my priorities as to what I go to. Okay, so that's what's coming up, and I've got everything. I have no table space. Got the phone is right here, and I'm kind of picking up things, and talked about finishing. Okay, let me peek. I've got, okay, good. So I finally reprinted my spreadsheet, and everybody is like, oh, there's only one line on it. And I was like, yeah, and that line has to stay there until May 2nd, because May 2nd I'm going to a retreat. There will be a designer. There may be a surprise design at the beach retreat. Last year someone close, near and dear to the shop, the Blue Flower, surprised us with a fully kitted project. That project that we got last year came out this year at Nashville. And I will put in the description of the video what the name of that project is. It's like Shore S'mores or something, because at this retreat we have s'mores on the beach put on by the hotel we're staying at. So last year I didn't do the s'mores because it was kind of foggy and cold, and I mean I basically wore a hoodie all weekend, which, you know, no problem there. It's the Oregon coast. I like it when it's cold and rainy and yicky, because that's not yicky for an Oregonian. That's perfect weather. So anyway, I have on here the Top Knot Stitcher Jam and the Jellies, which I have not started yet, but I hope to start this weekend. And you know, I had put together a bunch of the patterns that I got, and I pulled stuff out of the stash. Then I went to the shop today and I bought some more fabric because I thought, oh, you know, that fabric that I have already would be really good for a lot of these patterns. And so I bought a few things. So let me see if I can grab all this. So I purchased, just coming out of the shop bag, this is, sorry about the quality, Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Oh, pansy, punch needle pansies on the back. I didn't even see that. That would be worth the price of this. So that's what I want to do. That's really what I want to do because I love pansies. And so anyway, haven't even looked at it. I just grabbed it. And let's see, Jessica, Jet Stitch. If I say I hate you, that's meant in love. I love your work. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. But, you know, this is 11 rabbits. I think I had seen this before, but, you know, I was like, oh, I'm not really into dragons, but it's funny and whimsical, and I love the colors. So I did not get that at Nashville, and I pre-ordered a ton of stuff from Nashville, but that's not what I got. And then I got some more. This is Fiberlicious. It's 32 count linen, because that 32 is a little easier to stitch on than 36. And it's Siren's Veil. And this is like a tropical blue, and you can see it's got little gold speckles on it. And so I had a piece of this. This is a larger piece of this that I'm thinking, you know, a lot of those Beneath the Waves things might go on it. I'd kind of like to stitch a bunch of them on the same fabric. And if not, I can always use that for Christmas or something funny. So anyway, and I did buy, I want to keep that on my lap so it's handy, because I really, like I say, have no space. So I had, you know, picked Delft Blue to put the two cat pieces on, and that was from my stash. And then I also had Atomic Ranch limited edition 747747, which is a it's like a light green with navy blue modeling, and there are some pieces that I think would work on that. They would also work really well on that. They would really work well on that Siren's Veil. And the two things were Deep Sea Dumbo, which I thought, oh, those greens, those brighter colors would pop on the limited edition, and then the Crescent Crab. But those might work better on the Siren's Veil. So I think I may have to do floss tossing, sorry, not floss dropping, floss tossing. And then I have all these lighter things, you know, the Glow Below, I think was stitched on antique white, and I don't have any antique white or off-whites. I have one piece of Cedar River that is, you know, sort of an off-white, but I was given it at a sampler class, and I thought I'll just save it for a sampler or something other than this. And so I did pull from stash. What color is this? Oh, Ocean Sand, 36 count. That's a linen. Yeah, it's a linen. So Ocean Sand, 36 count, which is light, and I like it for that. It is kind of greenish, and since the green is an important part of the glow from the anglerfish, I wasn't sure if this would make the green not pop as much. So, but I think, yeah. And I thought this might go on the Siren's Veil. This is the Glowing in the Deep by Shaded Stitchery. And this Midnight Ocean, I was thinking on the Siren's Veil. This is Tiny Modernist. And then Sea Turtle Cove was another one that would probably go really well on the Siren's Veil. And then Ink Circle's Whale Shark would probably go really well on the Siren's Veil. So, or on the Ocean Sand one. So I'm kind of conflicted. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I also bought a very pale blue. This is Atomic Ranch, 36 count. It is linen. It is sky. So, and that's a pretty good representation of this in this camera. So this I think I might use for the Glow in the Deep. But anyway, just so I have a nice contrast and the green is not swamped out by the greenish color of the ocean sand fabric. So, and then while I was at Acorns and Threads put a bunch of stuff from that were free patterns, and so in fact I cannot show this, but I will show the title of it. Janine printed out for me the free Stitch Crypt. This is can't read backwards, Citrus Sea Turtle. So this particular piece, the model stitch was stitched in where it was supposed to be the citrus, which is the green. It was actually the model stitcher, or I forget what the name of Stitch Crypt designer is. I'm sorry. I really appreciate you, and I love your work, and I want to support you, and I especially love your snail stuff. So when the model stitcher was stitching this, they were ill, and so you had some brain fog, because you got a cold, and man, I had more brain fog with colds than I ever had when I got COVID the one time. But anyway, so they swapped out the green and stitched it purple instead. And so you can see pictures of the purple, and then you can also find pictures of stitched green. And I think Janine said this was going to be her small for the smalls exchange at the beach retreat. I'm not doing a smalls exchange for the beach retreat because I got to do my small for Pinwhists, and that's a project I am going to work on at the beach. So, and then there was another, this is one that I really wanted. This was a free pattern from the Blue Flower. It is blue ringed octopus, one of the most deadly creatures in the ocean. That you touch this, it stings you, you're dead. Okay, you can survive some great white attacks. This thing, it's really hard to avoid dying. Beautiful animal. So, okay, and then the shining achievement of my going to the store today was a fully finished. You saw this in January when I finished it. Okay, that's what I finished. I gave the finisher the DMC flosses to cord it with, and look what she found. Social distancing champion Bigfoot fabric. My sister is going to freak when she sees this. She is just she's gonna go just bonkers. And so anyway, this is a little pillow, and I was just expecting like this. I wasn't expecting all of this, but you know, Corey's amazing. I love you, Corey, if you see this. And so yeah, so I'm going to, maybe I'll have to like text her and say, hey, by the way, if you have more of this fabric, I don't care if she does mine differently. I was just expecting plain, okay? You know, like it's finished on the picture of the pattern, you know? So, but I will be stitching one of these for myself, and I probably will maybe not mess up the flag so badly when I stitch it for myself. Maybe, maybe not. So anyway, now if I had space on my spreadsheet, I have permission to stitch this again. It only took a really short time. Like, gosh, I started it during Jingle Ball, so it took me less than a month to finish it. So, and you know, I'm kind of slow on stitching. So anyway, I'm gonna stop this and then show whips, and then at the end of this video, oh, and I did get the person who won the oops, shouldn't tap the thing while I'm got the phone. The person who won the giveaway has contacted me, and she's going to the beach retreat, so we're gonna hook up there, and she can get the pattern. And I do want to give away the Wee Santa 2023, and so what I was supposed to do was I had finished it, and I went to the shop today, and I put the beads on it, and I didn't like the look. And I'd only put 2 beads, and I turned to my good friend sitting next to me, and I said, what do you think of the beading? And she's like, ugh. Like, she didn't like it, okay? She's like, these beads are matte. If they were shiny, they would look better. That's her opinion and my opinion. You may have a different opinion, or you may have beads in your stash that you would like to put on this pattern. There's only about 14 different little areas, and they're around the flowers where these little beads go that are red and white. So anyway, this is going to be a giveaway at some point in the coming months. I didn't want to do 2 giveaways close together because I don't have much stuff to give away. I'm a slow stitcher. A lot of times I'll buy a pattern and I'll want to do it twice. So you'll see the first time I do it. And so, but the fabric for this will end up on the free table at the beach retreat, because like I've said, I didn't like it, but somebody's going to love it. And I want them to have that piece of linen, and it's a good chunk of linen. It's pretty good sized. The rest of it, besides the little corner I cut out. So anyway, all right, so moving on to whips and the I Spy prompts for April. Okay, let me back up a bit. Somehow my light's shining on my glasses. Maybe I just need to tilt my head down. So let's see. So I want to get another finish in for April, and I've got a number of smalls, but the one that's closest to a finish is it's the little bauble from Jeanette Douglas. Practicing specialty stitches. This is from Jingle Ball 2025, and the colorway is sort of pink and red and green and gold. And so I am using this. I'm stitching it on Zweigart Stormy Clouds, which is a stamped fabric. Move those papers so they're not crackling right by the speaker of the. And so this is my bauble. I have one of the ornaments done. I worked on these are Hungarian stitches, I believe, and they look just like the Bargello stitches. And yeah, the Bargello stitches didn't look so good. I messed up on my counting. But so this is my practice, and I am going to finish it because I want to practice these stitches. It's going to look dorky and not perfect and weird, but I don't care. I want this. I want to practice. I want to learn more stitches. I am doing my stitching album, although I haven't worked on it at all this last month, and I really need to. And the thing is our stitch group, we all kind of got busy this last month and didn't do too much, although a couple people have finished like a single page. One person finished the front cover. Another person, I think, finished a page of the sampler that they were working on, and or close to it. So anyway, so these are Hungarian stitches, and sorry, they're I put myself anyway, there's a little bit of light behind everything. So and then I have another, these are like Algerian eyelets that you practice over on this one. And then I just need to finish the, they're like Greek crosses, finish that around this, around the border around this. So, so not too much to do, and I think I can get it done really pretty quickly. And and then I also realized, oh, I don't have the, I think it's Weeks linen that goes, this is like the Merlot, and then there's the white is like this linen, which I have some in my stash, but it wasn't in the kit that I kitted it up. So anyway, and it's on, like I say, the Stormy Clouds. And so Jeanette Douglas released a teal and blue colorway, and I have 3 more squares, so I'm going to stitch the and she released this colorway for the 3 baubles that she's done for 23, 24, and 25. Her assistant did a teal, blue, and silver colorway, and that's way closer to some of my Christmas coloring and Christmas decorations is silver. And so so I cannot wait to do those 3, but I will probably be starting those for the Advent season this coming Christmas in 26. It will not be started before then. So okay, so hopefully by the end of the month you'll see this as a finish. And then I have a friend who, when my friend Lisa and I were finishing our pairs during our Saturday mini retreat for Sailor Mary Stitchers, in the next room, my friend Tammy with Liz Stitching Studio was showing people how to do a flat fold finish. And I was like, darn it, I missed that. And I needed to see that. So I know, she's a friend, and I'm sure she'd be happy to teach me or tell me what to do. And since I've already done a lot of that stuff with Kara and my friend Lisa from Beaverton, I think I'll be able to figure it out and pick it up. And be able to do it at home myself. So anyway, as I'm doing more and more cross stitch, there is stuff that I used to just take my cross stitch, painter tape it onto some cardboard, and then shove it in a pre-bought frame. And I don't do that anymore, but sometimes I might. But anyway, but I kind of like to. So I'm still giving framers and people a lot of money, but I'm gonna try and do more myself. And I really want to work on my Christmas narwhal. I've got like I say, a lot of smalls to get done, and I really need to focus on the larger pieces for the end of the year and next year. And I have made some progress on Henny Penny. You saw that as a whip earlier this month. I will show that in my next Flosstube, Henny Penny. So the last portion of this video is two videos that are really crappy sound that I filmed of myself starting Henny Penny and making a big mistake in the first video and then having a problem with Willow fighting over, and then she messed up the camera, and yeah, so I kind of described that in the second video, what she was doing behind the scenes, and then I show an actual start of the Henny Penny. So I filmed those back in mid-March, but I did want to show them because they're kind of funny, and you know, and also if you are interested in doing a animal cracker on a large, well, small count linen or small count AIDA, which these are A count, then you get a sense of some of the things that you need to do, you know, like figuring out, okay, how big is this going to be and how many skeins of floss am I going to use, which, because you want to do the 6-stranded. And so anyway, and the size needle, which is important. So so don't feel, you know, that you have to watch the end of this video, but I'm offering this as an amusing sort of ending to this video. And at some point I wanted to put some kitty pictures in, but maybe I think I'll put one kitty picture in. So at the very end of the video. So if you don't want to watch the last two parts of the video, fast forward to get the kitty picture at the end. So thank you very much, and I will hopefully get this posted at some point. Tomorrow is Easter, and we got a really early morning start to Easter, which is not what I wanted to do, but it's what you have to do for family. And so I thought I wanted to make a bunch of deviled eggs. There will be an Easter egg hunt for the kids, and I'm like, okay, for the adults, I'm making deviled eggs, and so about a bunch of eggs. So I gotta do that. It's not something I can put off. So anyway, that's my plans. And oh shoot, the last thing is I-5 for April, which I actually, these are the progresses for the first 3 months, the first quarter of 2026. The January I completed 9.75% of, or no, 97.5% of the prompt, and that was 20 whips that I was supposed to touch. I touched all 20, but I didn't do as many days stitching on one of them. The second month in February, I completed 87% of the prompts. I touched 20 whips out of 22, and that took me doing some stitching the first week of March to complete that. And then in March, things just fell apart. And this reminds me of something one of my friends told me about when they tried to do Whip Go. And I love doing all the whips. I love touching everything. I love falling in love with the piece every month. But when I have to finish things, and I've got gifts that I have to give, and I have timelines for that, I've got to focus on gifts. And so when I can spare a day to just focus on whips, then I'll probably do this. Now, I completed, if I can read my handwriting, 35% of the prompts. I touched 5 out of 23 whips. So that was March. Not good. And, then April, the prompts are, number 1 is something shaped like a diamond. And the Jingle Ball 2025 is, there's diamond shapes in the ornament I worked on today. So there's one prompt that is half done. Acorn Manor has kind of diamond shaped in the baskets. I've stitched one of those baskets and there's another one on the other side. So I'm counting it as something with a diamond. Something that starts with the letter L. Well, Ladybug Picnic and Little Violet both start with L's. Something you see in a garden, of course, Purple Pansy Angel, which I really, really need to work on, and I just dread for obvious reasons that we've talked about here. The Rose Sal, which I love, and I just haven't been able to pick it up this month. And Kitten Reflections, because you see koi ponds in gardens and kittens in gardens. And then something with a horn. So Christmas Narwhal. So that horn thing that they have on their head is really, I think, a tusk, I think, officially, technically. But it's good. It's close enough to a horn. And then, and Festive Forest also has mountain goats with horns. I could put that on there. And then Fish and Ships, because ships have horns. And then a project that makes you laugh. Okay, I have a bunch of those. The Flamingo project, the Kitten Reflection projects. That makes me laugh and delight because I love it so much. Henny Penny makes me laugh. And Acorns and Friends, that pattern makes me laugh because it is humorous, of all the little forest animals cross-stitching. Then a color gray, and that is Totoro, my neighbor Totoro, because Totoro is gray, and House Without a Cat, because Volvetta was silver blue gray, and this is her memorial piece. And The Snuggle is Real. There are some official called gray colors, but they have some weird sort of hints of other color in them that are used in the slipper. And I'm not sure how much is used in the kitten, because the kitten's white, but it's a blend of different colors. So the Snuggle is Real. And then Saltwater Scrapbook is on a blue-gray model fabric. And then Something Found in a Book Title is obviously Henny Penny, because that's a book. And My Stitching Album is that's the title of a book on how to make your stitching album. And then Something That Hops, Festive Forest has a cottontail rabbit. I don't know if there's anything else that hops in there. I haven't looked at all the animals for a while in it. And then Something with Wheels. So I have no something with wheels. Nothing that I'm making like has a train or a car or a wheelbarrow or anything with wheels. However, Totoro and his little friend were waiting on the cat bus. And buses have wheels, although this is a cat bus, so it's really the cat's paws that are leaping through the sky. So that's kind of a stretch, but that was the only thing that I could come up with for that prompt. And then Something That Gets Blown by the Wind is Saltwater Scrapbook, has some awning, and they're on the beach, so that would be blown by the beach, by the winds that come in offshore. And thinking about it, Fish and Ships has some sailboats, so that I need to add to this prompt. I just did these last night, like at midnight or after midnight, and I was really tired. So all together, and since Festive Forest and Fish and Ships would be repeated whips, so I'd have multiple days stitching those, I only came up with 19 individual whips that I would touch with this. And that should be a lot easier to achieve than 22 or 23 whips. So that's the plans for I Spy prompts. All right, now, thank you very much for watching this far, and have a great day. And Acorns and Threads, if you purchase something this month, then you're put in a drawing to win 15% of all purchases for the rest of the year. So it's a great way. Today our coupon was, or the April coupon was selecting a poker chip with a minimum of 20% off, but it could be as high as, I think it's 35 or 40% off. So anyway, see you in 10 days, 2 weeks, sometime like that. All right, bye. Okay, this quality may not be really good in terms of sound, but I'm going to try it. So I had this open just a little bit late, a little bit earlier, and Willow wanted to go for the floss, and so this is, let me see, got to figure out which way it's oriented here. This is Animal Crackers Henny Penny, and so I am stitching this on 8 count AIDA, and it will be let's see, 11 and a half, which is, it'll be like, yeah, it'll be 11 and a half by, got it wrote down here, well, about 11 and a half by 15.8, so almost 16 inches. I bought a piece of AIDA, which is outside the camera. It's 18 by 27. I'm going to stitch it up from on the long end. And so what I did was I folded it in half. I'm going the wrong direction. I folded it in half, and then I took my trusty corner gauge and thought, okay, I've got at least 3 inches plus that I could make for a margin to start at the bottom. And so in the pattern, get the right orientation, Henny Penny's feet are at the very bottom. So I'm going to start with her feet. So this is how you make a animal cracker, which is a like stuffed animal size. You know, it's large enough to, I should put it here, it's like large enough to yeah, to buckle into your the front seat of your car. So because I know someone at Acorns and Threads, or patron of Acorns and Threads, who has made a number of these larger ones. So I was just going to do a little start here for today. I haven't decided whether this video is going to be part of my Flosstube, which I hope to finish editing and post today, or whether it's going to be a separate little shorter Flosstube. I might make it a shorter Flosstube because I'm going to do 2 starts today. So it might be easier to do that. Okay, so this is this crease, which you can kind of see. The crease is going like this. This is the middle of the fabric. And so I'm starting at this crease, and it would be helpful if I had the pattern, which I'm not going to show, but I've got my easel set up. I grabbed that thread. Willow, I was going to start this a few minutes ago, and Willow came up and was like, ooh, floss, let me play with it. So we had to distract her and get her down. And so I'm going through. There's like stitching instructions in the pattern, and I just want to look at the feet, which is on the last page of this. Okay, so I'm just going to start stitching on the feet, and with these big holes, which you can see how big the holes are, and I'm using a 22 needle, which is you know, fatter and larger than most of the needles you're going to use if you were to stitch this on, you know, a more normal size of a linen, or even AIDA. And so you know, you can't really do a knot here. If you were doing a linen, you could probably do a loop start or something like that, or a pin start, you know, a pin stitch to start. But with these big squares and holes, I'm gonna just go in the ditch, which is what we call or one of the terms for starting, where you just you have a length of thread on the bottom of your AIDA, and because you're coming up through the bottom. So I just wanted to make sure I knew where my hole was, where I'm starting. Make sure I don't get it's right. Oops, shoot. these needles are so big and the holes are so big. It's going to be fun, or maybe the opposite of fun, because it's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting. You know, there was like another size floss that the floss kept coming out. I don't think it was silk, but anyway, this is going to be 1/1. And so I have a length of thread in the back. So I'm going to make sure I don't pull that out, which I won't. Okay, I'm going to put my first half stitch through, and oh, the other thing about this floss is it is 6 strands. So you just take a piece of DMC and you take all the floss off of it and start stitching. So there I have my first stitches through. I have my hank of and I'll leave it long. I don't like wasting it, but my parents were both born in the Depression, and I was surrounded by my great-grandmother and my 2 great-grandmothers and my grandmother and great aunts, and so we were working class, not the poorest of the poor, but not, you know, sometimes struggling. And so they kind of taught me, or I kind of picked up somehow in my childhood, that we don't waste. So I'm the person that plays thread chicken every single time, because floss is expensive. And okay, this one, how did that do that? Oh, you know, okay, there we go. All right. So I'm just trying to keep a good, I don't want to catch any of these threads as I'm going through with my big needle, because that would be a mess. I started my kitty calendar for February, which is the last one that's going to go on that purple Wildberry Lugana fabric. And so and I have a good length of the floss. You know, this is so big, you know, I kind of worry that the stitches won't be that tight. So I'm kind of trying to, you know, make sure that everything is, you know, pulled sort of tight, but not, you know, there's a limit to how much tightness you can have with this size with this much floss and this size of AIDA. So I'm going to stitch until I get, I think, to the end of, this floss. Maybe I'll cut off, my floss caught on the corner of my table and yanked it out of my thread. So this wasn't too awfully bad with this. This needle has a really good sized eye. There, if I stop moving it, put it in the light, see the eye is pretty good sized. So This is going to be a pain getting this back in the eye because of all the flosses, and the flosses have kind of pulled a little, so they're no longer perfectly from the factory even. There, I got it through, and I give some of it. Okay. What are you not? Yeah, there's one floss that didn't make it through the eye. And I'm like, why are you hanging down here like that? Now it's through the eye. Okay. So, pro tip, I guess. I have never stitched on AIDA this big, and I've never done plastic canvas, so this is kind of like first time for me too. So, okay. So now Willow's up here eating her breakfast, or well, eating her lunch by this point. And, oh, yep, it slipped out of the eye again. That's gonna be annoying. All right, oops, which end is the eye? Yeah, super annoying. There, good. I think I got everybody through. All right, maybe I just need to have a huge chunk. Then that'll be harder for it to accidentally come loose. Okay, now Willow's up here and she's like, what is going on? Hi, sweetheart. Yes, we got the Henny Penny started. I know you've been really interested in this. So, oh, ha ha ha. So anyway, let's see, 5. Yeah, shoot. So I was so anxious about starting this. I went too many stitches. So, okay. Two. Is that going to be enough stitches? Let's see. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit, I should have started it in a different spot. Okay, here's Willow. And she's like, I'm gonna get that floss. Okay. Hey, Willow. She's watching me stitch in the screen, which she loves to watch people stitch on Zoom, and so this will be a special treat for her. She doesn't normally get to see the threads. Don't look this way. Okay, and then I'm like accidentally making a knot, which I don't want to do. If I pull it tight, it comes out. Good, good. That's what I wanted it to do. Okay. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have, maybe I'll just start up a few stitches. So I got plenty of space to stitch. Plenty of space to stitch up further, and I think I want to start right there instead of right here. So all this lovely work I'm going to pull out. But hey, I'm learning as you're learning, and yeah, don't watch. Don't look. Don't look, Willow. Ah, now that made a giant knot. Oh gosh, what a mess. Okay. Fortunately, these flosses, it's like 6 strands, so it's really, you know, oh, she's pawing at the screen because she's seeing the flosses. Oh, my girl. Look at, yeah, you can't see her, but she's, all the stuff on the screen she's pawing at. She's like, I want to play with that too. Because I never let her play with floss or string. Because, you know, cats can choke. It's just, it's not good for their tummies and intestines. So at least this is, aside from me tangling this, which is very stupid of me. Well, I shouldn't say stupid, it's ignorant of me. I hope you can hear all of this. You'll probably hear her scraping and screaming. Okay, we're back. Trying to make sure that I've got the long end going in front of me, which is almost over the keyboard. I've kind of got it bunched, the fabric bunched up. Can't really swivel this camera, but anyway, so Willow and I had a tug of war over the computer. She stopped the recording. She tried to start new videos. And it was just a mess. So eventually I shooed her away, and she pouted for a while, and now she's doing something else in another room. So anyway, so I have what the chicken's feet, you know, are like this. Okay, well, 3 toes for birds, and so, you know, I was thinking I was going to do one of the toes, which is on a diagonal, but then I was doing a straight line across, which comes a little later. The straight line across is more like the leg bone of the chicken, which you kind of see. Well, no, actually, it's not the leg bone. It's like you got these 3 toes splayed out, and one of them is more on a horizontal than the other 2 are more diagonals. So anyway, so I've got the first stitch of the first toe that I'm going to stitch done here, and then I've got the second one. If I can grab the right, oh, okay, I've got that. So underneath here, and it looks like the stitch I just finished. So I decided what I'm going to do is just make the full crosses and pull this floss along with me so that I can, you know, grab it with a stitch, so I can anchor it down. So probably should have grabbed it. This is one, yeah. Loosen that up, and I'm going to stick, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, don't want any strands to find their way out of. Okay, now I'm going to yank that down. Okay, it's anchored. And then this one, where am I at? Okay. And this is going to go here. And I'm going to shove that floss. This is a lot less obvious than what I did before, but I'm holding down the floss, and I grab it with my thumb. So then when I pull my stitch tight in the next spot that it's going to be on the fabric, it is just anchored down that hank that's there, those flosses. So now I'm going to go over here and go, okay, I'm going up to this next half stitch on the diagonal, and it's right there. And I've done this kind of anchoring the floss down like in this sort of diagonal pattern when I've done like the bibs and things where I'm not going in a straight line, or when I'm going yeah, I kind of do with the baby booties I've done. I try to do those more in straight lines so it's easier. But anyway, so I think you can kind of make sure I did one square. I did, and yes. So there's my needle, and there it's anchoring that piece in the back next to my thumb, which I can't see because right there. So I'm going to put this through the hole to make my stitch, and I'm pulling it out. Okay, now let's see where my next stitch is gonna go there. Okay, and I just pulled my floss, which I can't see because of the cutout, which I'm afraid you can't see. So I'm holding down that hank. It's through the loop, this giant loop right there between my needle and now I'm going to pull, oops, if I can grab the end of the needle, pull this through, pull it tight, or tight-ish. So you can see it looks like almost like herringbone on the back. So, and you can see where the crosses are. And so anyway, this is just anchoring this floss. So, because like I explained in the first part of this video that Willow cut off, I can't make a knot. Let me see how many 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the last out of the 3. There's like one that's horizontal and then 2 that are diagonal. So I'm doing this, don't want to give people the middle finger, but I'm doing this diagonal on this chicken foot and meeting up with the like the ankle or the part of your foot where before you get to the ankle where what is that called? Shoot, I was just reading a paleontology article the other day and it was talking about the forefoot, maybe I don't know if the forefoot includes the toes, but they were talking about, humans and apes and bipedalism, and so this is the kind of stuff I do for fun. Besides cross stitches, as a scientist, I still like science. I still want to read about stuff, and so just happened to catch a article about kind of a reinterpretation of an older fossil that's older. You might have heard of Lucy. Well, this fossil is 1 million years older than Lucy, and so it has more things to say about our evolution. So, okay, so let me do my last. This is the last diagonal, and can I? Ooh, you know what? 1, 2, 3. I can actually start stitching in a straight line, and then I can grab the floss if I want to grab it that way. There's that. So I do need to come down and grab it. Now I can grab it more in a straight line because I'm going to be stitching in a straight line. Okay, I'm going to grab that hank, pull it tight just so nothing's loose, and let's see how many. 1, 2, 3. Great. 1, 2, 3. And grab that hank again just so it's nice and tight. And so 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go back and make a cross. Gotta remember to keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I am stitching this horizontally, or 90 degrees. I've rotated it 90 degrees so I can just hold it and have things. Let's see, 1, 2. Let's see. Just gotta look at the pattern. 1, 2, 3. Yes, perfect. Now I can do. So I've kind of, I've held this down with 6 stitches, not in a perfect straight line, but now I feel comfortable about cutting off this bit. And I don't need to cut it off immediately because this is the end of the toe at the very end, the lowest part on the Henny Penny pattern, which is right there on her feet, with the two, with the one horizontal toe and then the 2 that are diagonals, which I'm approximating with my hand, which I don't know how well you can see it because it'll be a tiny little inset, but yeah, okay. Yeah, so you've got 1 horizontal and 2, horizontal and 2 vertical, which I can't do my fingers. It's giving me a cramp. So anyway, so I can now stitch the horizontal toe, which will be much easier and faster. And then I'll have it. Then I can say, hey, I stitched X stitches, like half a dozen stitches, which is great because this thing is, let me see what it says on the back. Or actually it doesn't say anything on it says it on the stitching instructions. So, stitching instructions, it is 84 wide by 114 high. So I will have stitched 6 inches high and about 5 inches wide. So, but hey, that, a start can be as little as a half stitch, is a start. You've put a stitch into the fabric. That's my definition. Your definition may change because we don't have cross-stitch police, and we can decide whatever we want to decide for progress and for starts. And for me, I like to get like 2 stitches in to be, or 2 half stitches in, to say that's a start. And sometimes the starts are just like, it's more morale boosting than real, maybe. Okay, so I have 5 stitches in. I'm sorry, this is to me, I'm sitting right here, and so to me it starts looking like the chicken foot. To you, it's going to look like the chicken's like feet up or something. And then sure where this, okay, I'm gonna do something I don't like to do, which is basically make a diagonal stitch, because I want to finish this toe where I'm gonna have 2 toes out of the 3 toes on the chicken. And just so you know, birds evolved from theropod dinosaurs, and theropod dinosaurs started losing their toes back in the Jurassic, or maybe by the Triassic. They were losing their toes, and they had just like vestigial toes of the ones that they weren't using. So let me see where. Okay, you want to go up a bit more. Stitch. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to stitch this row so it'll really look like something. And I will share what flosses I'm using, because I'm using DMC because it's color fast, and since this is going to be a stuffed animal toy, I hope that it never goes into the washer dryer, but it could. My great niece, I made a giant big knot at the bottom here, and this loose floss or loose fabric. But getting the knots out of 6 strands is a little bit easier than 1 or 2. Just saying. So yeah, so I am not doing weeks, which I think is the recommended floss for animal crackers. I'm doing DMC because I'm giving this to a 7-year-old, although she'll be 8 by the time Christmas rolls around next year, or at the end of this year, I should say, 2026. So just want to finish out 2/3 of the foot here. And then, oh good, then I can come do a diagonal across the back to pick up the 3rd toe. And I'm not going to make you watch me stitch. I've got 1 more stitch to stitch here. And I want to do it that way. Let me just do 1 more stitch. Oh, wrong way. And maybe I can't. Okay. Yeah, I can't go through the same hole I just went into. So and I'm using 6 strands because the person I know who did these, that's what she used. So okay, so there is turn it the right way. There's a Henny Penny start of a foot at the bottom of the fabric, and so this is the horizontal toe that is, and this is the vertical or the diagonal toe, and then there's another toe that goes out like that, not as far down as this one. And then the rest of the leg goes up that way. Oops, goes up that way. Yeah, and diagonal toe that way. But anyway, I stitched 2/3 of Henny Penny's left foot. Yay! So anyway, this will be really fun to stitch because it's AIDA. I suspect I will bring it to the beach retreat. So I'm thinking about what I'm bringing to the beach retreat, and I think I'm going to bring, the lighting at the venue is not the best in terms of some places I've been to, and for retreats, for Acorns and Threads and the 1120 Crafters has pretty good lighting, although the stuff I've stitched there, I've needed my light because of what I was stitching. The beach retreat, the ballroom at that hotel, everything's black, and it only has one bank of windows way off to one side, and the overhead lighting is not that great. So bring your lamps, and make sure they're charged and you have good charging. I bring my power brick, although the lamp I have, which is not this one, it's I forget what it's called. It's something Lux, that's available at Acorns and Threads. And so that lamp lasted me like the entire weekend at the beach retreat, and crapped out about an hour to a half hour before the retreat was to end. So that was great. So anyway, so I've made my start. I've folded up my fabric, and I'm going to stick it back in the project bag and put this away for today because I still have one more start, and I've got to finish all my Flosstube. So thanks for this one will come out after the next Flosstube number 52, which will also come out today. Thanks.